This episode is brought to you by Jersey Mike's. It's that time again. Welcome back to Points in the Paint, our weekly podcast solely centered on WCC women's basketball. I'm Ann Schatz, joined by my co-host, lead sled dog, the professor, Mary Murphy. All right, Mayor. We went into our games Thursday and Saturday last week with 5 teams tied atop the standings. We knew something had to give. The dust settled a little bit. What are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at 2 teams tied for first, and when you look behind that, just all kinds of drama that will just, as we've talked about throughout these podcasts, will just continue. But some epic performances and lots of fun things to talk about in this podcast.
Before we get into those games specifically from last week, let's tip our cap to the WCC Freshman of the Week and Player of the Week, and it's a sweep for Gonzaga's players.
Yeah, Ellie Turner, for the 4th time this year, is the Freshman of the Week. She had a career high 23 points, 5 threes, and 9 rebounds against LMU. Just another epic performance from probably the best freshman in the conference. And then an amazing weekend, without a doubt, from the WCC Player of the Week for the 3rd time this year, Yvonne Ejim with Gonzaga. And not only that, Anna, she's also one of the U.S. BWA, which is the United States Basketball Writers Association Player of the Week. So just when you're recognized on a national level for what you've done, and you go over what you did, and I watched the end of that Portland game a couple of times. In the last minute of the game, so Gonzaga's down. They're down at 59 seconds to go. She scores. Portland comes back and scores. And then there's a miss by the Zags, and she gets an offensive rebound and puts it in, and they end up winning the game. Portland misses a couple shots as time's running out. And it's what you would expect from an All-American, just rising to the occasion. A career high 35 points, but it's the efficiency. And even she commented about that after the game. 12 of 16, 13 rebounds, 11 of 14 at the line. I mean, just all of it's just epic.
Unbelievable. And that was kind of our showcase game as we watched Portland come back from 12 down to grab the lead, as you mentioned, at the Kennel, trying to avenge the loss against Gonzaga in the Rose City, and it went back and forth, and man, did it feel like a playoff game.
It did, but I mean, that wasn't the only epic game. When you look at Oregon State, unbelievably wins
Keep
their
going.
3rd overtime game on the road. I mean, they lost an overtime game on the road, WCC overtime game, but they've beaten Gonzaga, Portland, and they come back and win a game at Santa Clara with, again, Kennedy Schuler with the game winner as time runs out. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable.
When you look at teams across the country who have played in overtime games, have won those overtime games, Oregon State is right up there. It seems like every time you turn around, they're giving you bang for your buck and playing an extra period or two.
Yeah, and I think from a player or coach situation, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to always win in regulation, but it is pretty amazing to win 3 conference games in overtime on the road.
Want to mention another Thursday game, St. Mary's and Pepperdine. That game goes back and forth. It's tied at halftime. The Gales pull away. Keep your eye on this club. They are 6-2. It's their only game of the weekend. They had to have it. They got it done.
Yeah, they did a great job in that second half, outscoring Pepperdine 30-15. They really got it. They really put it together. And then Saturday,
yes,
just heated up once again as Pepperdine wins the game by 2 over San Diego. San Diego has the lead with 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go, but it's heartbreak for San Diego as they're still hunting for that first win, and Pepperdine steps to the line and just knocks down free throw after free throw and is able to win that ball game.
Pepperdine has now won more overall in conference games than they did last year. Katie Faulkner and her staff, this club is going in the right direction. How about the bounce-back victory for Portland against Oregon State in front of another huge crowd? Revenge for the Pilots.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than a weekend where you go to Gonzaga with the big crowd in such a big game and lose in such heartbreaking fashion. And then you have to go on the road to another big crowd in Corvallis at Gill Coliseum. And that's a game where we had Maisie Burnham on a couple weeks ago. 26 points, again, tremendous efficiency, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in a game they had to have. When you look at the standings, like, you want to keep pace with people, you have to keep winning, especially these games And now when you look at the tiebreakers, and we're going to talk about this theme as we continue on with the podcast to the end of the season, Gonzaga now up. They've got the tiebreaker against Portland. So they're up 2-0 in that one. And we're not going to see them play again until possibly in the tournament. And then Oregon State and Portland now one apiece. So that's a saw off there, and no one's going to have the advantage. So just they've played a lot of big games already against each other.
Hey, while I'm thinking about it, I know you and I went back and forth about a couple of players who just had epic games. Let's talk LMU's Maya Hernandez. I mean, this is a club that's struggling a little bit, and yet here's a kid that grinds and grinds and grinds.
Yeah, the 6-foot sophomore out of San Jose, 16 rebounds, 7 of offensive, 9 on the defensive end, totaled up for 16. Just a huge performance. And then for UOP, in their victory over USF, Liz Smith, the 5'9" grad student, gets 7 steals against a very good backcourt of San Francisco. So just 2 performances when you just pick them out of the whole weekend of games, exceptional. Ejim's not the only one. Turner's not the only one, just having big time statistical games.
You didn't think we were going to forget about Washington State, did you? I mean, they continue to chug along, don't they?
Yeah, they're a team that we expected it to be sort of a slow build because of how much youth they have. 6 freshmen, all of those sophomores, and just 1 senior in Tara Wallack. And so, yeah, they have really starting to find some rhythm. Their offense is up, their defense is improved, and they're really starting to play some of their best basketball.
The Cougs dominate USF and Santa Clara. So we know that Washington State is tied atop the WCC standings with Gonzaga. Oh, baby, how about that rivalry? And those two are rocking and rolling.
Yeah, they are, and you know, they're in such close proximity.
Yep.
And you know, you share the Spokane airport if you're not flying in and out of Pullman, and it's just going to be a rivalry just to continue to watch. And it's going to be great when we see the game 2 of that rivalry and see who gets the tiebreaker, or if that one's a soft as well.
All right, so you mentioned the fact that Washington State has this dynamic mix of veterans and young pups. We'll talk to that one and only senior on the Washington State team when we come back. Welcome back to Points in the Paint. We promised you a really great guest, and we are going to deliver the goods. Washington State senior Tara Wallack. Tara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Heck yeah. All right, let me ask you this. You guys are coming off an absolute monster weekend sweep. Really solid assist-to-turnover ratio, lots of blocks, lots of steals, lots of bench points. Do those little things turn into really big things at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, we're at a crucial point of our season where winning is really important. And I think this weekend just proved what we can do and what the bench can provide for the team coming in. I think everyone showed up this weekend and just did a really good job.
Tara, you grew up, you know about winning because you grew up in a very accomplished athletic family. Your dad wrestled, your mom played volleyball and ran track at the University of British Columbia, I think. Your brother played hockey, another brother played basketball. What was it like growing up? I know you're from British Columbia, but what was that like growing up around all those great athletes?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was good at what they did. So it kind of just made me more competitive and me like wanting to win and have that spirit inside me. And my brothers would always not bully me, but they wouldn't let me have anything easy. We grew up in a cul-de-sac, so there's always one-on-one competitions, whether that was basketball or road hockey, whatever it may be. So yeah, I think my brothers and my parents both had a very important role in my growing up, and how just like physical and how I play now just has helped me play. Yeah.
So would you say that those experiences when you're beating the you-know-what out of each other in the backyard or playing ping pong or whatever you do, does that kind of explain the blocks, the steals, and how important defense is to you?
Yeah, I think playing defense just kind of just makes me excited, and once I get a block, I'm like, oh yeah, like I just get pumped up, and getting a stop, getting whatever it may be, a rebound just really just gets me going for the game. And I think those moments growing up with my brothers, I mean, if I get one stop on my 6'6" brothers, it's like, okay, game's over. Like I win. So it is really those like little things in the game now that make it important for me, and like, okay, I just got that rebound. That's good. I can settle in, look for my shot, look for whoever's open, whoever has the best um scoring opportunity in the possession. So yeah, that definitely helped.
Here, one thing that has just blown me away watching you this year is your offensive rebounding. I mean, you had a game earlier. I think Ann and I were on this game. It got 7. Like you had a run there, like 6, 7, 6. Your average over 3 a game. Like just what are the instincts it takes to just follow all those misses and then just track them down and like just grab your team another possession?
Just like right spot, right timing. I think we have so many shooters on this team, and I know most of them they're going in, but Coach E will yell at us. We don't go to the rim, so I just try to get myself in the right spots whenever the shot goes up, and usually I have a height advantage to whoever's guarding me. So yeah, I just try to get in there and try to get for the loose balls. I love when there's a loose ball, and being the first one on the ground is just like one of my favorite things with the 50-50 balls. So yeah, whenever I can just get my hands in there or deflections or anything, it's just a good thing from the team.
How has the emergence of Alex, with all that size and her ability to block shots, helped your game? I know it's helped your team a lot, but how has her emergence this year as a sophomore helped your game just go to the next level?
Yeah, she has just shown so much more confidence and like power in the game, and you know whenever we pass it to her, she is going to score. And I don't know if it was like that last year as much, but like this year we all know as soon as we get it in there, she's going to score, and I think that just gives us more scoring opportunities. And even let's say she doesn't have the shot to the rim, she's able to pass it out, and that just creates more opportunities for me, especially if my player goes to double or just like spacing wise. Um, yeah, just having her on the court is just a huge advantage for our team, and having her play down low and me outside is just another problem for teams having to face. So yeah, having her on the court is just really good for the team right now. Yeah.
How would you define in head and heart where you are at this point, nearing the middle of conference play compared to where you were a couple of months ago? What are the progressions that you've seen in this club where you're really starting to get it together?
Yeah, I think we've been saying it all along. We are such a young team, me being the only senior, but it's starting to click. Like everyone's on the same page the last few games, and it's just starting to make sense, I think, for the freshmen and the younger players. And like with everything, experience comes with like lessons, and I think everyone's learning, and they come to practice focused more now, knowing what it takes to win, how much film we have to watch, and how to really just be dialed in for those practices. It's just getting more used to this type of schedule, and I think everyone's just doing a really good job right now. So we're in a really good position.
I went back. You mentioned being the only senior this year. I went back to see who your team was when you were a freshman, and you had Crystal and Charlize Ledger Walker, Ula Matuga, and Bella America Tete on your squad. Tell us about just the journey from starting and the decision to come to the States and play for Washington State to now, and what you learned from such great veterans that you're pouring into your freshmen now.
Yeah, I mean, those players are players you won't come across again. They all bring such a special gift to the game, and I was so lucky to even be able to play with them for a couple years, Crystal 1 year, but to have that experience has helped me get to where I am at. I don't think if I had different teammates, I would be the type of leader I am today. I still reach out to Ula, Charlie, sometimes Crystal about different questions because sometimes I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, or like they've been in this position before. Since I'm the only one, I don't really have anyone to like lean on or another senior to back me up. So they've really just given me an extra hand here and there. And yeah, they really have just helped me develop into the confident player I am. And just having them in my back pocket, if you will, just has really just helped me have that support system, even though they're not here in person, but being able to text them or call them whenever I need is just has been really helpful.
All right, let's get personal. You ready? We're coming. We're coming. So word is that you are a huge karaoke fan and you love the song What Makes You Beautiful, your favorite. When's the last time you've hit the karaoke circuit and maybe if you sing it one more time, those boys will get back together. What do you think?
I mean, that would be nice, but the last time I usually perform every time we go to the coach's house. So whenever that was, either Christmas or whenever we have a recruit, I always have to give a little special finale
Do you
performance.
have a recording? Do you have a recording of this?
I don't have it on my phone. I don't want to rewatch it, but I'm
Okay,
sure
all
everyone
right.
you can ask around. But
Okay.
yes, we are not as much this year, but years past, a very big karaoke team. We would always go out to the local like restaurants wherever they would have it in. Yeah, so I just love singing even though I can't, and just embracing the stage.
Good for you.
No, yeah.
Speaking of the stage, how do you feel about TikTok and your brother Brian?
You know what's funny?
What?
I mean, good for him, like, I'll just use his clout for my TikToks, but I mean, it's really cool. It's something I think I would want to do in the future if it continues to grow in the app. But he's been having a lot of like sponsorships and been able to have different things sent to our house, like different workout machines. So he's like been providing for like my family, my parents, got my parents a new mattress, got me new basketball shoes. So I'm like, as long as you keep giving me things, like I'm fine.
Well, so what about that video of you two together doing your little dribbling drill, turning around and in unison hitting those long, long, long triples? What was that like? You got a million hits.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like one of those things we see online. We're like, oh, that would be pretty cool. Or we just make up something really fast and the people love it.
The people love it. They can't get enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, classes obviously back in session. You're taking a self-defense class and some wine tasting or wine making class. What the heck?
Wine tasting was last semester, but
Oh.
yes, I got my certificate. So if you ever need someone to serve alcohol to you in the state of Washington, right here. But this semester I'm doing self-defense and Pilates and a leadership class. But yeah, it's a very easygoing senior year last semester.
Okay, so wine tasting was last semester. Self-defense is this semester. You're still rocking and rolling with Brian, maybe figuring out some TikTok stuff, and you've got room for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we let you go, your club is hitting that pivotal point of the season. What's next for Washington State? What can be that dream come true for Washington State?
Yeah, I think we have a March Madness team, NCAA team, and that is the end goal. I want to get back there, and I just want to have the best end to my college career. So I'm going to do everything I can to help get us there and hopefully win the WCC championship. That will just be one step closer to getting that. But yeah, that's the ultimate end goal of this season.
Thank you. You are a true Renaissance woman. All of those things on your plate. We loved having you with us, Tara Wallack. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck to you and the Cougs.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break and bring this episode, this train to the station when we come back. Welcome back to Points in the Paint. We're going to close out our 5th episode, looking at standings again, and Mayor, we're going to look forward to the games coming up. We've already done 4 of these things, now 5. We're making hay.
Yeah, we are. And it's the more we get into this and see these teams play and these individuals, we just are learning more and more about the stories. And Tara Wallack, who would have known that she was a TikTok star getting 2 million views. It's a great journey for the two of us.
All right, quick hit on the standings, Mayor, before we talk about games coming up. When you look at the standings, there are still an awful lot of teams who are thinking, why not us?
Yeah, but I think I put last week's and this week's side by side as I was trying to just kind of get ready for the podcast, and what a difference a week makes because a week ago we had all these teams tied, 5 teams tied for first place, but we still have 7 of the 11 teams tied or within 2 games of first place. That's extraordinary. And it really shows you that one, the parity, but also what matters is when you play teams and what your schedule is. And things are just going to continue to get more and more interesting as we get into this. And we've also seen the significance of injuries and what has happened to USF with the injury of Deborah Dos Santos, and things have gotten really tough for the Dons. So above all things, stay healthy.
And Mayor, any other games just jump off the page?
Well, I think obviously the Thursday game with Portland going to Washington State to play, we're at one of those, something's got to give. This is the first meeting of the season between the two, so that's significant as well. There will be a second one, and I love that about this conference this year is everyone's going to play each other twice. So you're really going to get a good evaluation at the end. We're going to know like where people stand, but can Portland continue the bounce back? Where are they headed? And Washington State, we just talked to Miss Wallack, and we know that they're on an upward trend. But every game, especially at the top right now, very significant in the standings. And just look forward to seeing what happens in that one.
Keep in mind, it's the first time Washington State and Portland have played since 2022. That was in the Rose City, and Washington State completes the largest comeback in program history in that game to swipe one from Portland. It's going to impact the standings for sure. Another one I'm looking at, and I'd love your take, Oregon State at USF. The Dons hurting. Can they right the ship? Oregon State needing one as well.
Yeah, I think Oregon State has played really well, and then, they've had some games where they don't play as well.
Yeah.
So, and when you take it on the road with all those overtime wins that they've had had a lot of nail biters, and I hope that San Francisco just really continues to get it together and figure things out, but that will certainly be a terrific game to keep our eye on as well.
I'm going to, again, tip the cap to Freya Worth, who has had broad shoulders in the absence of Deborah Dos Santos. She has been phenomenal. All right, what about Pacific at Pepperdine? I'm really interested in this game as well.
Yeah, I can go down every single game and just find something to be really excited about. It sitting at 5-4, and you talk about a program at the tipping point. Can they just load up on some wins and keep themselves in that upper division? Because again, the tournament and where you're seated is going to go just so far. And are you going to be able to win this tournament and get to the NCAA tournament? So taking it on the road, it's an important game, no doubt.
Man, we look at standings, but I'm so glad you keep reminding us of the importance of seedings and tiebreakers, because those teams that are granted those byes in our WCC tournament, oh boy, because of the grind coming into it, going to be huge.
It is, and we have another game coming up a week from Monday, and that's Washington State at Oregon State. Washington State won the first meeting, so again, can Oregon State at home, beat Washington State and even that series? So they have an even tiebreaker, or does Washington State go 2-0? So it's a long weekend for Washington State. They will have 3 games, but Santa Clara, St. Mary's, Oregon State, UOP, where they lost in overtime. There's a lot of games where, it's kind of looking back and looking forward and a lot at stake.
All right. We like this. We like this logjam thing. We like this craziness. It's loads of fun. We'll keep our eyes peeled and our eyes on the prize, but that will do it for another installment of Points in the Paint. Thanks, everybody, for joining us wherever you may be. And obviously, it's always better when you're on board. Mary Murphy, thanks for everything from you. We'll see you next week. See you, everybody.